welcome to Backtracks of the 3G Collective. This is our podcast. Well, this is part of our podcast. This is the in-between segment of our actual long podcast where we talk about the recap of the month's news. This is where we just talk about a game or something that we kind of currently want to just talk about. Today, I got Gerardo with me again because Adrian says he kind of didn't feel too good about that Smash thing. So he wants me to just deal with you for a while. That's a punishment or something. But nah, I mean, he lost to both me and I think he lost to you. Or you say you can beat him.
Oh, I can beat him.
Yeah, I beat him.
Yeah,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But speaking of Smash and Nintendo, we're going to talk about Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. You've been playing that recently, right, Gerardo?
Yes.
Cool. So, what'd you think of it?
It's
the new remake, not the old one.
Yeah, I've never played the original one. I'm enjoying it. It's very pretty. It was funny because originally I was not into that art style at all. I thought it was too chibi kind of thing, and it wasn't for me. But the more I looked at it, and the more someone pointed out that it was supposed to look like a diorama, then it was when you're playing it, it feels so realistic in a way. It's really realistic graphics, just because it looks like you're looking at a diorama, and it's super pretty.
How far are you into the game?
Honestly, I want to say maybe 50 to 60% through it.
Okay.
I'm terrible at it.
I would try and remember because I haven't played this yet. I played the remake and just I have looked at reviews of it because I try to avoid reviews if I plan on reviewing it. But I've been looking, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna wait on this one. That's just my personal thoughts from what I've seen.
From what I've seen, they didn't change that much. If you played the original one, you pretty much know what you're getting into. They just made some improvements. I know the screen obviously doesn't have the whole, it's just a square and you got to move to the next segment of the screen. It's just a full open thing. Also, my understanding is the equipping of the items is easier because you have some hot items already pre-assigned to buttons.
Yeah.
So you don't have to constantly go into your menu to equip something. My only concern or issue with it is just there's some frame rate drops.
I was about to ask you about that because that's one of the main things I heard. There's a lot of frame rate.
There's frame rate drops, mostly loading in and out of areas, and then if there's stuff going on the screen, it'll really dip below 30, and it's a little jarring. But it's one of those where it's a Nintendo first party game that you would assume they would be fully optimized so that it's a solid I rate, but no, and it's not insane graphics. It just looks realistic, like I said, like a model. But I don't know. It's weird.
See, though, I heard of a theory. This is just theory. I'm not sure whom, but they said that this game is supposed to be optimized for the Nintendo 3DS. And then once the Nintendo 3DS was basically going it's 2018, let's get that on the Switch,
Oh, so they had to port it kind of thing?
Yeah, that's the rumor and the theory I hear, and I'm kind of believing that myself, because those graphics I do think would look better on a little screen,
It would make sense, and also unlike most first-party games, it has no implementation of anything really Switch related. A lot of the first-party games, some way or another, they have some sort of motion controls you can do in them, or HD rumble.
There's no rumble at all?
No, there is rumble, but not HD rumble, just regular old rumble.
Okay.
Because HD rumble is the one where it really vibrates on a controller or the other, to really make it feel realistic.
Huh.
But this one, no, it's just a normal. So it honestly doesn't make use of all those little Switch quirks. So it it would make sense with what you're saying.
So remind me, what was your first major Zelda game that you played?
Probably Twilight Princess, even though I never finished it. I was just playing on a friend's borrowed GameCube.
Yeah.
I played most of it.
Have you been playing Breath of the Wild? Have you played that?
Oh, love Breath of the Wild.
Okay, so here's my major question, which is, how do you feel going from Breath of the Wild, where it's this open world, kind of, they give you all the tools at the beginning, to back to this rudimentary, or basic, for lack of a better word, of Legend of Zelda? This is, back to what was on the Game Boy Advance.
I mean, that was kind of one of the things that I was actually interested in. So the one was just because as I played Twilight Princess, which is not quite like the original ones. Then after that, I played Wind Waker on the Wii U. Also didn't finish it. The first Legend of Zelda game that I finished was Breath of the Wild, and I love that game. I could still play easily one of my top 3 games ever.
No.
Love it. It's so much fun. But then like that's what really made me fall in love with like Legend of Zelda as a whole. I was like, dude, this is awesome. So then when this one was coming out, I was like, oh, I do want to play like, its roots basically. I want to see, but in the new graphics and stuff, and I'm enjoying it. It's very different. Obviously, it's not at all Breath of the Wild, but I'm great. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so how did you feel about the story of Breath of the Wild? It's very weird to like compare Breath of the Wild to this because it's definitely gonna make bigger advancements and stuff, but it's basically our only like touchstone because, like I said, I played this, but it's been a long while. I have a rough memory of what of like the layout, and because it was like I played it as a kid. I played Link's Awakening DX, which was the Game Boy Color, I want to say, remake or like the advanced version. Friend gave it to me, and I just played the hell out of that. Maybe it was Game Boy Advance. I can't remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I played it, and I think I got up to the final boss before I quit.
Okay.
Just because my friend was like, "Hey, I want that back," and I'm like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
Because I'm a decent friend.
Some would say.
Yeah, and the only people who would say I'm not are the ones that lose to me in Smash.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the story and the dungeon design and stuff like that compared to Breath of the Wild?
Well, I would say there's more of a dungeon. Like I feel like there's more dungeons in this one because technically the only dungeons in Breath of the Wild, what I would consider dungeons, are the beasts.
Yeah, that's really it. I would consider them too.
In this one, it has much more. It's different. I mean, it's obviously constructed by the camera. Although, I mean, the asymmetric camera shows you a little bit more, but it's not like all open like Breath of the Wild is. In terms of the story, I don't know. It's actually pretty comparable. Where like it's not a lot of like explicitly told to you story, but I mean, obviously, Link's Awakening, much more charming and cutesy kind of story.
Yeah, you wake up on a beach kind of thing,
and you're just trying to get out from the beach for some reason. And Zelda, well, I don't even know if she's Zelda. I don't think she's called Zelda.
Not in this one. If I remember correctly, Link is not in Hyrule yet. He's either leaving or going to Hyrule. Okay. One of the two, and that's when his boat incident happens and he lands on this foreign land and he's trying.
Well, I know they changed him in the timeline though. In the official Zelda timeline, I know Link's Awakening.
Don't start on the timeline.
Well, I know it was in a place, and then right before this game came out, they moved Link's Awakening to a different place in the timeline because I mean they do whatever they want with the timeline because honestly there shouldn't be a timeline.
Yeah, it's not like they've made a timeline just because people were asking for a timeline.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Why would they do that?
Yeah. No, but
it's cute. It's a really adorable story. It's very charming. It's funny. I remember. Okay, same thing.
So you've never played this, by the way. I want to know, what did you think of when you saw like the chain chomps and stuff like that?
I saw it on the trailer, so I mean, I knew it from the trailers, but it was one of those when I was watching the trailers, like, what is this? And then playing, it's like, what? It's like, yeah, Kirby's there. You have Goombas, Yoshi's in there. You have the chain chomp. Mario technically is in there. It's one of the first like dudes that you find out his name is not Mario, but let's face it, it's Mario.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
It's backwards Mario. Ariyama.
Basically.
Yeah.
But it's funny and it's charming.
Brother who's not Luigi.
I haven't found that, so maybe.
No. I don't know if he's in there.
He could be.
But maybe. I don't know what they changed. But it's one of those things where it's like, how did you feel about seeing those as like, because they're not Legend of Zelda staples. Mm-hmm. So you play Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild, any others?
Wind Waker. A little bit of Ocarina.
Yeah, but like in any of those games, you don't see chain chomps.
Oh no, they're. I mean, do you know why they're in the game?
Why?
So because I went into a whole rabbit hole.
Because this used to be one of the Capcom games, right?
No. So the thing is that the creators of this game, they were working on something else, and then whenever they were done with their shift, one of them started whether he would stay after work to work in his own game out of passion. And then he started doing it. Then other coworkers started joining in, and they all started making this game out of pure love for the second Legend of Zelda, the Link to the Past.
Okay.
They love that game, and they wanted to make a game like that, basically. Mm-hmm. Not with the authorization of Nintendo, not necessarily looking to sell it, just out of passion. And just because they were having fun with it, they decided let's throw in all these other characters from Nintendo because it's funny. And then they did it, and then someone was like, we're actually making a pretty fun game. We should try to pitch this. So they tried to actually properly pitch it to their bosses, and they were like, yeah, this is cool. Let's make it.
Okay.
So then they were like,
a
okay.
fan project that Nintendo didn't shut
Basically.
down. Okay,
Correct.
gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
And yeah, that was basically it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious. Have you gotten into what's the boss name? The giant anglerfish. There's a giant anglerfish. If I remember, he is like one of the easiest bosses you can beat.
Yeah.
Like in the amount of time I'm telling you what this creature is, you could already beat him.
No, I don't think so. I think the last one that I beat was a genie.
A genie. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was like I think I have 3, maybe 4 instruments. I know I have at least 3.
Yeah. So yeah, you're getting halfway. I can't remember the dungeons off the top of my head. They weren't that memorable. Like Wind Waker, I can remember like quite a bit because I played Wind Waker. Ocarina of Time, I can remember quite a bit because Ocarina. Breath of the Wild, I quit on that game. Twilight Princess, I can remember quite a bit. Breath of the Wild is just not my scene.
I know we've talked about it. Like you're not a big fan of the big open world kind of games.
Yeah, so that's just me. It's like it's not a bad game because worlds, but I did really like these isometric kind of puzzle styles of Legend of Zelda, and trying to figure out what to do in them.
I'm terrible at it, by the way.
Have you pulled up a guide?
Oh, many times. Dude, I'm like, it's one of those, like, I've been spoiled by, how new games, like, you have autosave and you have so many, like landmarks or, like,
And tips and stuff?
Yeah, and,
have
like,
you not
things
gone
in
to
the
the phone guy?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
And it's one of those, like, oh, go to the phone. It's like, oh, go to this area. And I'll go to the area. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so lost. I'm like, I have no idea where to begin. Pull up a guide. I've pulled up a guide multiple times. I'm terrible at it.
Have you had that incident of, like, I'm pulling up a guide? Oh, of course that's what you do.
Every time. Well, okay, no. There's been times where I'm like, I would have never even thought of this. Or there's been times where like, oh, yeah, of course.
Like how?
I mean, I can't think of anyone. Like, you mean like the of course kind of moments?
Yeah, like the of course,
Well, yeah, things like they'll tell you like, oh, have you tried checking up this area? And I'll go to the area. It's like, I see nothing here. And then I see the guide and it was like, oh, yeah, there's a little crack on the wall. You just had to blow it up. Like you were literally standing next to it. I was like, oh, yeah, I do have the bombs. I literally just got the bombs. I should have known.
Yeah, like trying to take your sword and just... Do you do the whole thing of going through each, like, wall? Like...
I haven't tried that one. I did have an, of course, moment.
Because that's like when I played Link to the Past, that's what I would always do if I'm like, I feel like I'm missing
just poke
something.
everything.
Poke every single, like, wall.
No, I had one where I went into the desert area and I cleared the whole area, but there's a part that had like looked like quicksand, like it's going towards the center. And I was like, I'm just not gonna go there because that looks like a trap, like or like somewhere where I would just die. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go. So I'm trying to figure out. I was like, okay, I gotta open this, but I can't find the key. I can't find the key. Look at the guide. Oh, you gotta go in that area, and a boss will show up and you just fight. And I was like, of course.
Fall in the quicksand.
Not even fall. Just walk into the room, and you don't. There's a center. There's a hole at the center, but you can still walk around without actually going to the center. Oh, so all you had to do was walk into that room or that area where the sand is pulling towards the center. But I just never even went into it because I see the sand pulling towards the center. It's like, that looks like an instant death thing.
Nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah. And then it was like, oh, you got to go in. A boss appears. You fight him as long as you stay out from the center. And then you're fine. And you get the key. It's like, oh, shouldn't.
Now, do you feel like getting a guide hinders your experience playing the game at all or no?
So I used to think that like way back when. But then I realized like sometimes like I don't have time to like put that many hours into the game. I just want to experience. And for me, I'm enjoying the experience of just playing the game, seeing the charming of it. So losing out and figuring out some things for me, doesn't ruin it because I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. So it's like, I don't care. I'll pull up a guide. Yeah. As long as I'm still the one playing and I'm still the one fighting. And it's not like I'm constantly following the guide. What I'll do is like I'll play, and once I hit a roadblock, then I'm like, all right, let's see the guide. Oh, okay, that's what I need to do. Now I keep playing by myself.
Now, do you have any like major criticisms other than the frame rate of like anything design wise or how? Because we've hit like the story and presentation, but is there anything that like also nags you? Like I hear some people are like the mini games have gotten a little bit better, but they're still not the best thing ever. Like
the claw.
I think it was the claw or the fishing mini game from what I hear.
Oh, the fishing. Yeah, I suck at the fishing one. I enjoy the claw, but no, nothing really other than the frame rate. Because for me, even the things like the mini games, they're still just mini games. They're not the main thing of the game. So I don't care if they're not perfect. I mean, if you think about it, like a lot of games have fishing mini games, and they're never like necessarily like amazing. Like I never spent hours playing the fishing minigame. I play to get what I need to get, and then I get out. If I wanted to play a fishing game, I would probably buy a fishing game.
How many conch shells have you got? Or how many, what are they called? Because I can't remember. I know you gotta get shells.
Seashells? I can't remember what they're called.
You gotta buy. You got to find some shells.
Yeah, to upgrade your sword.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I got like the first like there's level like different tiers that you can fill up to and gives you little bonuses. I completed the first one and I'm about to hit the second one. But same thing. I'm not necessarily like hunting for them. I'm just trying to I'm enjoying it at my own pace.
Because if I remember the original, it only takes 20 to fully upgrade your sword.
No, I think you need more than that in
Yeah,
this
no,
one. Because
like-
I've gotten like at least 6 and I'm now nowhere near like
6?
yeah.
6 isn't that much.
But out of 20, but the thing is that I'm still way below on the thing. I don't know.
Okay,
There has to be a lot more because I find them like everywhere.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, it's either 20, and I do not know on the remake.
Yeah, I don't know if
at
they
all.
changed that.
Yeah.
But I like the claw game is actually fun because it's frustrating as well because it actually has actual physics.
Oh, really?
So it's not a
didn't
normal
know
like
that.
it's not like you just snap to it and like you got it and that's it. No, like you'll grab it and it has physics for like it'll grab it and then when it's pulling it up and it's moving, there's a chance that something that it might fall in between the cracks of the claw. So it has actual physics on it. So it can be so frustrating where you like almost got something, then it falls out as it's moving, just like an actual claw machine would do.
Now, all right. So based on the theory of the Nintendo, this was made for Nintendo 3DS, coming for Switch. Do you think that this will be maybe the last remake that we'll see? Like, because this is a full-fledged remake of Link's Awakening. I don't think Link to the Past, the Shadow to the Past, that one for the 3DS, you remember? That one was kind of a remake, but it was also different.
Isn't that the one where you can face into the walls?
Yeah, but that's
Link
the
Between
thing.
Worlds?
Like, Link Between Worlds, but it's basically like a Link to the Past. Like it has this very similar stuff.
It's a very similar style, but my understanding is
But-
like a completely different story. And,
Yeah, it's different in that way, but it's also like, oh yeah, this is almost like it was like a different timeline,
Yeah.
or something like that. But do you think we'll see, like, if this game? I don't know how it's selling. I don't know anything about that, but like, do you think this is it for Link's remaking, like Link's Legend of Zelda remakes, or do you think we'll see like those Capcom ones, Oracle Seasons, and Ages of Seasons, I believe, come back, or
I have no idea. I mean, I never expected them to remake this one. Because I know they've done remasters of like they did their remaster of Ocarina and Majora's Mask on 3DS. I don't know how much they're actually trying to do a remake. My understanding is this one was one of the big ones that they wanted to do a remake of, mostly because it was on Game Boy Color, or Game Boy, so not a lot of people played it because it's not one of the main staple like Legend of Zelda games. So that's why like they felt like they had a good opportunity remaking because a lot of people haven't played it before. I don't know what other games they could remake. Because,
well, like I said, the Legend of the Oracle Seasons and Ages are ones that are Game Boy games, but they weren't made by like the Nintendo crew. They were made by Capcom.
at that point, I wonder if there would be any license issues. Because I mean, I'm sure Nintendo owns the license, but I don't know if there would be any kind of conflict with the fact that Capcom was the one that developed.
Kind of like how they haven't like remade or redone a Super Mario and the Seven Stars RPG.
Yeah.
Because Square Enix technically holds the license for a bunch of those original characters like Geno, Mallow, and I think like half of the world, I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know. So so I don't know if that's it's one of those things that they would have to come to an agreement with Capcom to be able to pull that off.
Or Capcom, hey, remake this, and there'd be like if it's up to Capcom to go,
Yeah.
Like I don't see any game that other than like the original Legend of Zelda that they could remake.
See, that'd be cool though, because I tried playing the original one on the NES like virtual console on the Switch, and that one was rough. It's really rough. Like it doesn't hold well. Like they've made huge improvements. Like even just playing Link to the Past, that one's fun. It's a lot of fun. It plays really well, but man, the original one, it's really rough around the edges.
Or Legend of Zelda 2, that one.
Oh, the 2D one?
Yeah. Like
That'd be interesting as well.
They could remake that and do it differently. Or at that point it would be a remake, right? Like if they changed it and didn't make it look 2D.
Oh yeah, but
that would be a complete remake.
Complete remake. I mean, even Link's Awakening technically is a remake because I mean they built it from the ground up. For me, as long as you're not like, as long as it's new engine, like you're making it from the ground up, I would call that a remake. Even something like, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro when those came out. Those are proper remakes, not just remasters. For me, a remaster is just when you grab the same thing and just polish, like a higher texture on the or higher polygon count on the characters.
Because like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was remastered for the Wii.
That's a remaster, because it's the same game. They just up the texture resolution a little and just call it a day, and just tweaked some of the in-game mechanics, but. No, if you build it again from the ground up, then it's a proper remake, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I don't, like I said, I don't see any other Legend of Zelda games. Like, I don't. What would you think is next for them to, like, Legend of Zelda wise? What would you think they would remake? And then just in general, if they would to do a remake of some other game, what would you think they would go for?
Legend of Zelda related?
Yeah, Legend of Zelda first.
It'd be cool if they did like you pointed out, like the first one, the original one. That'd be cool because it'd be interesting to see, like, again, the origins of it, but like in a new engine, maybe with some new mechanics, more updated, That'd be cool.
What about like in general for the Nintendo series?
Man, I don't know. I mean, Metroid is a classic that they could always do. I know Super Mario RPG is one that I've never played, but I've heard great things. But like just pointed out, licensing might be a little tricky because I can't think of like what other like Mario staples. Because even something like Mario, they kind of already did with when they did what is Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, Wii U, Deluxe, all the editions.
And at that point, you kind of don't need a remake for
with Mario Maker.
Oh, speaking of, the Legend of Link's Awakening has that kind of dungeon making thing.
Yes.
Have you played that? Do you like it or not?
I haven't tried it because you gotta unlock the tiles. Then the other thing that I don't like is the fact that there's no way to share it online. The only way that you can share is you gotta load it into your amiibo, and then you can bring it to a friend, and they can unload it from an amiibo. But even if I just have you my friends list, I can't just send you like, oh, check this out. It's like, no, I gotta scan it, bring you personally my amiibo, and then you can scan. It's like, it's a little too convoluted. Like, it would have been cool if they had just had an online feature, kind of like Mario Maker, and then people are making their own dungeons like all over the world. Like, that'd be really cool. Yeah, maybe something they can add as an update.
Especially with a tile base though, because from what I hear, it's like, oh, you're not exactly making a tile. Like, it's not RPG Maker VX or something where you can make, oh, here's where this enemy is, this for this. You kind of get like these preset tiles.
Correct.
And just like stickers in a sense and just drop them in.
Yeah, drop them in whatever order and shape you want, but it's the pre-made tiles, yeah.
At that point, it's like, you kind of made your own dungeon, but at the same time, you didn't, And like, how many combinations of that is going to be interesting? Because that's the thing with Super Mario Maker. You have all these different like design choices, and you basically gave players like a toolkit and saying, here's what you need. All you need, like, our only limits is you have to actually be able to finish the level. Go.
I mean, and that's the thing. They might just be testing the waters with the feature. I don't know if they have any way to track like how much people are using it. And maybe that's the next thing that they're working on as a side little project is making a proper, Legend of Zelda Dungeon Maker, kind of like a Mario Maker, where the whole game is literally just community based. People are making content for this. And then maybe they would give people more freedom where like you have tiles, but you can actually make more customizations. And then, just like with Mario Maker, just, the only conditions, you got to beat it. If you can beat it, you can post it because then there means there's a solution. And that'd be cool. That would be very interesting.
Well, that's all our thoughts on the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake for the Nintendo Switch. If you guys have any ideas of not just ideas of like what would make a cool Legend of Zelda maker, but just your thoughts on the Legend of Zelda remake as well. We would love to hear them. Leave a comment in the video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on audio podcast, just leave us a little comment at our Twitter at 3G_collective. That's at 3G_collective. Well, that's all we got. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
You are going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's going to be my signature sign off.